Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on CapnclydesMTGs. We've got a flood of previews coming in. Looks like they're rounding out commons and uncommons. Couple rares snuck in there. And we don't have much time left. Probably about one more day or two. At most, I forgot to look at the calendar. And we'll be done with preview season. Back to normal videos. And boy, we got some spicy ones coming up. Tell you what. So, without further ado, let's get into it because we got quite a bit to go through. So we'll start with the first group of cards. We have the Guidelight Matrix, 2 colorless artifact. When it enters, you draw a card. Already good. 2 colorless tap. Target mount you control becomes saddled till end of turn, activates a sorcery. Or target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature till end of turn. We talked about some very powerful vehicles that were hard to crew. This does it for just 2 mana. Probably going to be popular. I don't know if it's good enough for standard, but boy, it may be close. And in limited, this is a powerhouse. We have the Skybox Fairy, 5 colorless 4/4 flyer that crews for 2, plus has cycling for 2. Obviously going to be sweet in that limited format. We have Ticket Tortoise. That just reminds me of like Chuck E. Cheese. But anyway, 2 colorless turtle. It's a 3/1 with Defender. When it enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you get to create a treasure token. I mean, this is fine for limited. I mean, it's only blocking once, much like the Chuck E. Cheese stuff. Anyway, only working once. We have the Walking Sarcophagus. We have a 2 colorless zombie cat. That's a 2/1. It has Start Your Engines. When you get to max speed, it becomes a 3/3. So, pretty sweet for limited, be honest. The next set of cards we have here is Silken Strength, green and 1 enchantment ore with flash. You can equip a creature or vehicle. When the ore enters, you get to untap the enchanted permanent, and it gets +1/+2 and has reach. That's important because you can untap your vehicle, then crew it and block with it. Very, very important. Could be a good combat trick. We have the Broadside Barrage, red, blue, and 1. Instant, deals 5 damage, target creature or planeswalker. Draw a card, then discard. This is going to be so powerful and limited. Holy cow. The Gastral Thrillseeker, that's pretty much me when I go to Taco Bell. Anyway, red-black for a 2/3 with Start Your Engines. When this creature enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent, and you gain 1 life. Max speed, this creature has Death Touch. So basically it comes in, everything triggers. You go to 1 on Start Your Engines. This enters, you hit them again. At the end of the turn, Start Your Engines go to 2. This is going to be a very powerful card for Start Your Engine mechanics. And Black-Red may be on the horizon with a card like this to play, especially when it's not legendary. So we have Camera Launcher. Really? Okay, whatever. 3 colorless for a 2/2. It has exhaust for 3. Put a +1/+1 counter on it and make a 1/1 Thopter with flying. Amazing card for limited, but probably won't go much further than that, but still pretty sweet. Next, we have the Gibberak Omnivore. Can't believe I pronounced that right. Anyway, green and 1 for a vanilla 3/2. Just a great card for limited. We have the Migrating Ketrodon, 2 green and 4 for a 6/6 with reach. When it enters, you gain 4 life. Plus, it has cycling. This is another powerhouse for limited. We have Plow Through. Giggity. 1 green. Target creature you control fights target creature and opponent controls, or you can destroy target vehicle. This is going to be very powerful and limited in the draft format for this set, and maybe even in standard. The ability to fight or destroy vehicles is, for 1 green, just bonkers. We then have Run Over. It's a green and 1 instant. Costs 1 less to cast. If it targets a mount or vehicle you control, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. Premium removal. This will easily be a 1 green instant spell that doesn't put your creature in danger of fighting other creatures. You just basically just deal direct damage. So probably the best version is going to be highly played in limited, may even make its way into standard, depending on what you got going on. So, man, that's just good. Anyway, So next we have the Alcarian Jaguar, green and 4 for a 4/4 Vigilance. Already sweet. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it gets +2/+2. Saddles for 1. This is basically a 6/6. Amazing for limited. We have Broken Wings, gets a reprint, green and 2. Destroy artifact, enchantment, or a flyer. We have the Fang Guardian, green and 3, 4/2 flash creature. When this creature enters, another target creature or vehicle gets +2/+2. This is basically Giant Growth with legs, and it's also basically Ambush Viper as well. Downside, can't target itself, so this won't live when it blocks something, more likely than not. But maybe something else will, or maybe you can just save something from dying. It's going to be good and limited, but probably as far as it goes. The Hazard of the Dunes, a green and 3 for this 4/4 Reach Trample, which as a common is just nuts. It has Exhaust for 7. You can put 3 counters on it, which then becomes a 7/7 Trampling Reach Worm. This thing is amazing and limited, and in my opinion, good enough for standard at the 4 mana cost. If you ever exhaust it, I don't know how you lose after that. But hey, I mean, I've seen weirder things. Still, I think it's a great card. Love it. Next, we have the Magmakin Artillerist, red and 2 for a 1/4. Whenever you discard one or more cards, this creature deals that much damage to each opponent. It cycles. Whenever you cycle this card, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Gonna be a great card to proc up, start your engines. Not to mention, there's a lot of cycling in this deck. This could actually become a thing in Limited, maybe even Standard. I mean, at 1/4, it pretty much blocks anything. We have Road Rage. It's going to be good for Commander. Before you guys get all uppity on me. I know. Commander, cycling decks, so forth and so on. Anyway, we have Road Rage. 1 red instant deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, where X is 2 plus the number of mounts and vehicles you control. This is the best removal spell I think I've ever seen for a format. This thing is always going to do 2. This is always a shock for a creature or a planeswalker. But if you're playing this and you have mounts and vehicles in your deck, this thing could easily be a 1 red, take 6, 7. On a mediocre day, like on a good day, this could be up to 10. This is just nuts. Going to be great in Commander. Like, this is going to be a premium uncommon. Next, we have Sky Crash. Red and 1, destroy an artifact, cycles for a red. I think this is another premium uncommon that's going to see some value. So be ready, be aware. Next, we have Thunderhead Gunner. Is that a red shark pirate? Okay, anyway. Red and 4 for this 4/5 with reach. Discard a card, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery, only once each turn. That is phenomenal with this thing. The Artillerist. Probably only good for limited, though. Does cost a lot, but if you get the shenanigans going, oh, the shenanigans. So, next we have the Wreckage Wickerfolk. Black and 1 for a 1/3 flyer. When it enters, you surveil 2. Good filler space for limited. We have Burning Rocket. It's a red and 1 for a 3/1 vehicle with flash. Interesting. When this vehicle enters, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains trample. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't think it's going to be good, but I can also see where it will be good. And it's probably fine for limited. Next, we have the Dynamite Diver, which is probably where the other card, the Burner Rocket's going to be really good. 1 red for a 1/1. This creature saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles as though it was 2 better. Excuse me, had its power is 2 greater, so basically crews anything 3 or less. When it dies, deals 1 damage to any target. Next, we have the Inrider Spike Spitter. Red and 3 for a 3/4 with reach. Has start your engines at max speed. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile top card of your library. You may play it this turn. This is another premium uncommon. If you get your engines up to max speed of 4, and this is on the battlefield, you're basically drawing 2 cards a turn. I mean, you can play the card that turn if you flip over a land, and draw a land, you just play a land from exile. Because at some point, you won't flip over a land, and you can play a land from your hand, and it's just amazing. And I see this. It's got reach. It's a 3/4 for 4. Seems really good to me. However, power creep may push this out of the format. But, I mean, back in my day, if I had something like this, I would lose my shit. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the Mutant Surveyor, black and 2 for a 2/3 with starter engines. 2 colorless, it gets +1/+1 to end of turn. Max speed for 3, you can exile it from your graveyard to draw a card. This is bananas for any limited format. We have the Risky Shortcut, black and 2. You draw 2 cards. Each player loses 2 life. I like this. Too bad it's a sorcery. I mean, it's still playable, but nothing like going, I'm going to draw 2. We're both taking damage because of it, so sorry. Next, we have 2 black and 1 for spin out an instant that destroys a creature or vehicle. Premium black removal there for limited. We have Siphon Fuel, black and 4. Target creature gets -6/-6 to the end of turn. You gain 2 life. Only good and limited, but we'll probably definitely need to see some play because there's some big things out there. Big, huge, large. Then we have Urza's Shagging Wagon. Kidding. This is a joke. Everybody calm down. I've seen this posted somewhere, and I just had to do it. To be fair, I would not be surprised if there was something in this set that looked like this and had these abilities. And I'm almost depressed it's not real. So, moving on. Keeping you awake so who's paying attention. So, next we have the Chitin Gravestalker, black and 5 for a 5/4. Costs 1 less to cast for each artifact or creature card in your graveyard. Cycles for 2. This can easily be a 1 black card, or 1 black mana to cast this if you cycle enough creatures, which may also be a deck coming soon to a town near you. We have Engine Rat, 1 black for a 1/1 with Death Touch. For 6, each opponent loses 2 life. Amazing for limited. Not like walking or removal. We have the Grim Javelineer, black and 2 for a 3/2. When you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+1 to end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, surveil 1. So basically, it's a 4/2 by itself, or it can get real hairy and make something else large and in charge. Because it says whenever you attack, not this creature. So we get more than 1 out, things get real. We have the Hellish Sideswipe, 1 black sorcery. You can sacrifice, or you must sacrifice, a artifact or creature in addition to the 1 black. Destroy a creature or vehicle. If the sacrificed permanent was a vehicle, draw a card. It's kind of a variation to other cards just like this, Eaten Alive, yada, yada, yada. But the ability to draw a card if you do sacrifice a vehicle makes this probably some premium removal in the limited format. Next, we have Spectacular Interference. Blue and 1, counter target artifact or creature spell unless this controller pays 4. Probably going to be some of the best counter spell action in limited. We have Stall Out, blue and 1, tap target creature or vehicle, then put 3 stun counters on it. Also cycles for 2. More great blue removal. We have Trip Up in blue and 3. Return target non-land permanents. Target non-land permanents owner puts it of their choice on top or bottom of the library. Cycles for 2. This is your basic blue bounce spell, but still good because it also cycles. We have the Ancient Vendetta. Black and 3 sorcery. Choose a card name. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 copies of the card with that name and exile them. Then that player shuffles. We've seen cards like this be very popular in Standard. This is not as powerful as some of the older ones, but at the same time, it feels very close, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Next, we have the Nimble Thopterist, blue and 3 for a 3/2. When it enters, you also get a 1/1 flying Thopter. Not bad. We have Sabotage Strategist, 2 blue and 2 for a 2/2 flying Vigilance. Whenever 1 or more creatures attack you, those creatures get -1/-0 to end of turn. That is insanely good. This is a Planeswalker with legs that always protects you without you having to tick it up. This is amazing. Also, Exhaust for 7, put 3 counters on this creature. Just make it a 5/5 flying Vigilance, Mahamoti, Jin, to hell with you and your stuff kind of creature. This thing's going to be very popular and limited. If you get one of these, you're definitely playing blue. We have the Scrounging Sky Ray. That is the most horrifying picture I think I've ever seen, for the love of Christ. That's so many blades on what is a fish, a stingray, basically. I'm going to tear one up for Steve Irwin, my boy. Anyway, blue and 1 for a 1/2 flyer. Whenever you discard one or more cards, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. Holy shit. We've already talked about tons of cycling and things that cycling can do. This card also cycles. It also gets really large when you cycle. This is gonna be a powerhouse in limited. If cycling's a good enough mechanic to make it in standard, this card will be very popular. We have the Sky Shriek Engineer. Blue and 1 for a 1/3 flyer. Exhaust for a blue and 4. Put 2 counters on it. That is only limited because that is good for what it is, but bad for what everything else could be. So, next we have the Glitch Ghost Surveyor. Blue and 2 for this 2/2 flyer. Has Start Your Engines. At max speed for 3, exile from your graveyard to draw a card. Great limited card. We have the Guidelight Optimizer. Blue and 1 for a 2/1. Tap to add a blue. Only spend the mana to make artifacts or activated abilities. We've seen cards like this all the time. Notice it's an artifact creature. We've seen lots of good artifact synergies. Speaking of affinity. Anyway, Keen Buccaneer. Blue and 2 for a 2/3 with Vigilance. Exhaust for a blue and 1. Draw a card. Discard a card. Put a counter on this. So this is going to activate so many different things and synergize with so many things in limited. This is going to be a very popular pickup in limited. We have the Memory Guardian. Blue and 4 for a 3/4 flyer. That's all it does, other than the fact it has affinity, which means you're probably going to cast this on turn 3 on a regular basis if you're playing artifacts. Just put that out there. Because on turn 2, you're probably going to lay this little fella. And then on turn 3, he now costs 4, and this taps for a blue to cast artifacts, which is what he is, which means on turn 3, you're going to make a 3/4 flyer. Probably pretty good. Moving on. So, next we have here the Swiftwing Assailant, white and 3 for a flyer with Start Your Engines. It's a 3/3. Once you get max speed, it gets a +0/+1 and Vigilance. That is very mediocre, but fine for the mana cost for limited. Next we have the Voyager Quick Welder, white and 2 for a 2/4. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less. This thing is nuts. This is going to be a very popular card. Not only in limited, maybe even standard, because it's hard to kill, for 1. 2 is going to make artifacts cheaper. And 3, once Commander figures out how to use this card, yeah, the foils are going to be $50,000. Because I know Soul Ring sucks when it's not turn 1, but you know what doesn't suck when it's not turn 1? On any turn when you get a free Soul Ring. Just saying. Basically Dark Ritual and an artifact. Yeah, this thing's going to be very popular, especially with Mana Rocks and Commander, so get them while they're hot. Thopter Fabricator, blue and 2 for a 4/4 flying. For 3 mana seems pretty good. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. It also has crew too. It is a vehicle, so you do have to crew it. Like, that's going to be hard for a whole whopping amount of 2, and the amount of draw cards you have in blue, which are going to make this thing pop out Thopters to crew itself. This is going to be a thing in standard. And in limited, it's going to also be a thing. We have Gear Seeker Serpent, 2 blue and 5 for a 5/6 with affinity for artifacts. It can't be blocked. I believe this is actually a reprint from a previous set. Don't quote me on that, but very, very close. Next, we have Guidelight Synergist, white and 3 for an 0/4 flyer. It gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Jesus Christ, never mind. It doesn't have Defender, so it's actually a 1/4 because it itself is an artifact, and by the time in limited this thing gets into action, it's going to be huge. So, yeah, this is going to be a very popular card. Limited. We have the Leonin Surveyor, white and 1 for a 2/2. Has Start Your Engines. During your turn, this creature has first strike. Fair. At max speed for 3, you can exile it to draw a card. Another great card for limited. And to be fair, this would be a sweet card for standard, as a 2/2 first striker in an aggro deck is great for 2. And once it dies, the ability to draw a card off of it to kind of restock your hand and get some more action going is also phenomenal. We have Lotus Guard Disciple, white and 2 for a 2/2 flyer. When this creature enters, target creature or vehicle gains lifelink and indestructible to end of turn. Great limited card. We have the Sundial Dawn Tyrant. Boy, what a name on that. White and 1 for just a 3/3 legendary artifact creature. Again, a great card for White Weenie. 2 mana 3/3 with no drawbacks. I mean, other than the fact it's legendary, but let's be honest, this is worth it. So, moving on. Next, we have the Spectacular Pileup, because that's what everybody really goes to a race for, right? 2 white and 3, all creatures and vehicles lose indestructible to end of turn, then destroy all creatures and vehicles. This is going to be the #1 removal spell in Standard, Limited, and Commander. Why? Loses indestructible. How many times have you fought a creature or anything that has indestructible, like another commander, that you have to make sure you get to your certain abilities or certain ways to stop it so it doesn't just run rampant on you? This will put a stop to all of it. And it has cycling in case you don't need it immediately, or whatever. Trust me, if this does not come out as an expensive card or an expensive foil, by the time the first month or 2 is over, this will be when people figure out how sweet it is. I could be wrong. I'm not going to say I'm not. However, my pick for the sweetest card of the set is this new Wrath. So, we have the Brightfield Mustang, white and 3 for a 3/3. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, you get to untap it and put a +1/+1 counter on it. This is a limited all-star because this thing just keeps getting bigger. And only saddles for 1, which means anybody could saddle this thing, much like some of my exes. But anyway, we have the Broadcast Rambler, white and 4 for a 5/4. When this vehicle enters, you get to make a 1/1 colorless Doppler creature token with flying. It is a vehicle, so it will have to be crewed. Luckily, the 1/1 that you make with it can crew it for 1. So, yeah. Kind of convoluted, but whatever, I guess. Next, we have Gallant Strike, a white and 1, destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater, and it cycles. Great limited removal. So keep an eye out for this when you're doing those sweet drafts. Now, with all that said, we've gone through a lot. Put some comments down below what you think of these cards. I think they're all sweet, and there's some promising, if not already remarkable, uncommons that are going to have some high value. I think Spectacular Pileup is going to be just the bee's knees in several formats, especially Commander. So, yeah. It's going to be interesting, guys. So, we're almost there. Until next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table while I make a Spectacular Pileup on your side of the board.